I
Go
We're live.
here. About to go live. There we go, and stream. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Microsoft Credential Ask Me Anything with three MCTs. My name is Vlad Katrunescu, and I'm here joined by two of my amazing friends, MVPs. Let's start with a little bit of introductions. Jonah, would you like to start?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonah Anderson. I am from Sweden. I'm a Microsoft MVP for Azure, MCT, and I'm also the founder of Azure User Group Sweden. And I'm streaming live and joining Thiago and Vilad from Belgium because I'm attending the Techorama.
Okay, and I just like to welcome everyone. My name is Tiago, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer for more years than I want to confess. Also an MVP, and my specialties are currently Azure and AI. And I work as an independent consultant. I work and I help companies moving into Azure, and I also do training. And you can find me regularly in the classroom, just teaching people about Azure, about AI more recently. And it's kind of one of my big passions, and I've been Microsoft certified for many, many years. Again, let's just not talk about how many years. Please don't do that question. And thanks everyone for the great welcome messages. And we're here today to this is kind of a ask me anything, correct, Vlad, Jonah?
That
And
that is
people, we're
Yes.
we're
correct.
expecting questions from people, correct?
We don't really have an
Yes.
agenda. The goal is to answer all your questions, especially with all the changes that we recently have with
Mhm.
applied skills, with I don't want to say it like that, but a bunch of certifications going away in a way, and kind of what is replacing them. So, any questions you might have, and before we continue, I was going to say, Tiago, looks like we matched. We didn't talk before,
We didn't did this.
but we did match.
Uh,
And I
I
guess you say you do say that you've been an MCT for too long. I guess that's why you don't wear the one with how many years you've been an MCT like me.
I
You
I
want to hide
have
it a bit.
I have to confess that I have a shirt that is similar to that, but it doesn't say 5. Okay, it says
It's
more than
double
5.
digits, right?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, he has double digits, but let's just not talk about that part. But I have a
Yes.
great question, by the way. And this is for Vlad because Vlad, did the intro and he said something that was really, really interesting, which was welcome to this Ask Me Anything about Microsoft and now the amazing word credentials. Why you said credentials and you didn't said certifications, by the way?
I
Mhm.
That's a good question, especially that it was actual certifications on the cover image, right? Uh, it will take me a bit of time to get used to it, but if we look at one of the major changes that happened in the Microsoft Learn portfolio in the past 12 months is that Microsoft introduced the concept of applied skills as a credential. So before we only had Microsoft certifications, right? And everything was Microsoft certs, but now we have a new umbrella term. So it's called Microsoft Credentials, which is any way to get an official credential from Microsoft. And underneath that umbrella, you have Microsoft certifications, which we had before, as well as the new Microsoft Applied Skills. And honestly, it's taking me quite a bit of time to say Microsoft credentials instead of certifications. After we've been doing it for 10 years, it's gotten a bit tough to go to that by default. But I'm getting there. I'm getting
Yeah.
there to get to say the right term. And I'm really curious. I see we actually already have some questions about applied
Yes.
skills. Well, you actually put it right on screen here, Tiago. Thank you so much for doing it. And let me read the questions. Do you have any updates about new Microsoft applied skills? John or Tiago, who wants to take this one?
I
I
can
will
I can
give it to Thiago.
Yeah, I can take this one.
Mhm.
So Microsoft, like Vlad was saying, now that has to this, let's just call it branches. We don't actually have a word for that, but certifications and applied skills. Applied skills are more for that very practical knowledge and very specific for a specific task. There is one like about like storage accounts, just like Azure storage. It's like super specific, it's not like a certification that you have like Azure administrator, which has a really broad knowledge. This is for something really, really specific. And the way you take them is you just go on the website, you choose one of the applied skills, you click take assessment, and there is actually an assessment which is actually like a virtual machine, an Azure subscription or a Microsoft 365 subscription or whatever you need to do that applied skill. You're going to have that environment there, and they're just going to ask you to do stuff like you do in consulting. Hey, you need to create this, you need to configure this with this specifications, etc. And it's really, really, really to the point. Now, I just want to say this right now: not all applied skills are available to take. We used to have all of them were not available, but since last week, only there's already a few that they are already available again. Okay, so you could just go there, check if those are available, and there's a great thing: they're free. So we don't have vouchers for applied skills because they are just free.
Well, no, we can give 100% off, Tiago,
Oh
for
yeah, for
applied skills.
everyone.
For everyone, we can give 100% off applied skills today.
Yes.
Exactly.
We can say that.
No, but
Yeah.
they're put to the point, and I actually invite everyone, just to take the ones that matches what they feel that they work. And also, if you work in a Microsoft partner, by the way, applied skills are getting super important because they are starting to show up on the partner dashboard. So your company will ask you to do it. And what better way to say to your boss, to your manager, say, "Hey, I'm not taking those because I already did. There you go. I have it." Okay, so that's always awesome to show. But I have
Yes.
another
I also,
question here.
yeah.
Maybe someone wants to answer this,
Yeah.
which is from Nikos. How does one become an MCT? So MCT, it's a Microsoft certified trainer. Like,
Well,
I have you.
Yes. Yes.
Who wants to answer this?
who is the most recent MCT here? I think, Jonah,
I
you're
think
the
it's
one that
Jonah.
most recently went through the
Yes.
process.
I think
Maybe you can
I'm.
share a more fresh view.
Yes, I'm one of the junior MCTs or the tenured one. So it's really an honor to join both of you. But to become an MCT, actually there's a guide for that on the Microsoft Learn. But you need to have the accredited instructional skills that are required by Microsoft, and you need to have at least two, I believe, two certifications as well. And there's more if Vlad and Chago wants to add more details into it.
Yeah, you need to have like a technical certification.
Mm.
Like, for example, I think Emmanuel is also asking here. For example, the PL 300 is one that counts. So basically, you need to have one of the new associate
Like
or
role
experts.
certification.
Yeah,
One of
or
the new
expert
ones, but not
certification.
the fundamentals. Better than the
Exactly.
Yes.
fundamentals.
Or applied skills. Applied skills also don't count for this.
Great.
Um,
Mm.
and then you need to take a course basically about how to teach. Okay. And those are the two things that you need to have, like Jonah was saying.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you have the two, you have to apply. And if you have, there's a list on the website.
Mm.
If you just type MCT program, there's how to become an MCT. There's like a list of all the providers that offer those classes on how to become an MCT. Sometimes I also teach one of them. I help a partner teaching one of those, but it's really rare for me to show up there, to be honest. But actually, you just teach people, about how the program works, how you deliver training, those sorts of things. Even if you're a seasoned trainer, it's always nice to go to those classes. To be honest, you're always going to learn something.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right. And I also want to add something that sometimes I was recently I joined the European MCT summit, and sometimes in summits organized by trainers, usually have the train the
Mhm.
trainer program,
Yeah.
where even if you don't have the license maybe to instruct, you can go to that conference, you pay a fee, and then you get certified for doing a workshop to be a trainer to deliver Microsoft courses.
yeah,
No, no,
and
no. Yeah.
that train the trainer training is actually amazing. I did it
Yeah.
almost 10 years ago, even if I didn't have to. Back in the days of me and Tiago, you didn't necessarily have to do that training session. You could have had a reference. There was other ways to get in. Now it's mandatory, but even if it was not mandatory, then I still did it, and I got a ton of value out of it.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm gonna say I'm happy that Microsoft did it because it's good knowledge for everyone.
Yeah, no, that look, Vlad, I totally agree. When I did mine, it was mandatory to take, okay? Because it was mandatory then, it wasn't, now it is again. And before, I don't know. Okay, before my time, I don't know
Things
how it
come
was.
back, the
Yeah,
fashion comes back, you know.
exactly. But even if it was mandatory for me to take it, I learned tons, to be honest. Also because I didn't know how the program work, how Microsoft certifications actually work, and all that. And they actually explain all that in the course that I took. So it was super valuable, and I think it is super valuable for that.
Yeah.
Let me just answer this question from Carrie. She's asking about which course should you take. Look, any course, it's going to have the same value for Microsoft in terms of, yes, you can become an MCT. So it's up to you to choose. What I said, and we're discussing here, is you're going to invest the time and the money. It's better for you just to take a course that actually, it's going to teach you something that you feel the value. So interact with the different vendors, try to understand, what is the most appropriated to your profile. Because, if you're like, don't have zero experience in teaching, maybe, you want something that kind of teaches you the basics. If you're already a seasoned professional, maybe you just want to skip, the basics and just go for the Microsoft oriented style of training, so it will actually depend. And I'm so sorry about not answering clearly your question because it's not I don't want to say, hey, that's the best provider, because there are at least three or four that I know. They're pretty good. And then there's a bunch of others that I don't even know. So I don't even have a positive or negative or neutral opinion. I just don't have an opinion on them because I just don't know them.
Something I would recommend is there's a great MCT regional lead in South Africa called Chintan Patel. If ever you need an introduction, feel free to
Yeah.
contact me on LinkedIn, and it would be my pleasure. He has been amazing into getting new MCTs into the program, answering questions, and that's a bit the role of the MCT regional lead, which you both are, right?
Yes.
I after 6 years, I decided to take a break for this term, but there's an amazing MCT regional lead in South Africa. I think that was where the question was. Yes, South Africa. So if you ever need a connection, either go directly to Chintan Patel on LinkedIn, or feel free to contact me and I'll do the introduction. And he can maybe give you some more local knowledge, as well as he's from there. Of course, he knows the everything
Market.
locally a bit better.
Who wants to
Okay.
answer BPIM?
I can take it. I can take it. It's you know, the thing with those questions, and why Tiago knows the answer but doesn't want to say it, is sometimes the more you know, the less you can say. Right, Tiago?
He's
But it's like that. But what I'm
he's
gonna say
careful.
is, I'll answer this, that we've seen Microsoft change their security policies in 2024. Whether it and this applies to each one of the free environments that they give. This applies to applied skill. This applies to the tenants that we as MCTs use inside the different classes that we give. This applies to the M365 developer program, which also stopped, where they added a bunch of things such as multi-factor authentication, needing people to add a credit card. So the Microsoft security team made a goal this year to really secure every free environment that Microsoft gives away. And I think this came a lot from the security team. Necessarily, all the other teams were not necessarily ready for this change of having MFA. And how does it really work with applied skills when somebody logs in with Microsoft Learn and they just get kind of a VM sandbox in the browser? So I think they're just working on making it work in a way that they can still provide those lab environments in the browser while respecting all the new requirements from Microsoft security. And we've even seen it last week that Microsoft executives, some of their bonuses now will be based on the security, or I mean, the lack of bad news that Microsoft gets about security in the press. So it's been a hot topic for them. It's been a top company priority, and they're looking at how to make it more secure. Uh, Tiago, Jonah, anything you'd like to add, or did I do a pretty good job? Uh,
No, that was
I think
perfect.
I think that was perfect. I can take the next question. I think we have one. I think from YouTube.
yeah, there we go. I took too much
There we go.
clicking.
Thank you. Yeah, too much admins. All right. And we got a question from Prasetya. Can you share tips on how to turn applied skills and certification into a job or a better career? So I can start, and I think Chargo and Bilad has tips as well. But for me, who is very like new in the industry in a way for the past 10 years, I would recommend that making use of applied skills and Microsoft credentials or certifications into highlighting what you have achieved. Like for example, putting your certifications on your LinkedIn and really market yourself in a professional way, especially in different companies, and sharing it with your colleagues internally or externally. So that's one of my advice. And anything else you want to add, Chago?
Um, yeah, look, it's always hard
Yeah.
to to do the switch, to be honest. But there's always one thing or two things that I say when we're talking about certifications, which first is the journey that you take to become Microsoft certified. You learn a lot. Okay, I think that's the most important part, and you can have that knowledge and you can go to job interview and you can act better, you can answer better the questions that you're going to get from the person that is doing the interview. So that's a big plus. Then there's the cherry on the top of the cake, which is actually you have the certification. The certification, and I'm pretty clear on this, doesn't get you a job. Okay, it's not because you're
Mm.
certified. Oh yeah, you're certified, come join us and we'll pay you this truckload of money. That's not going to happen anywhere in the world. It's not how it works, but it probably will get you the interview. Okay,
Mm.
probably. If and I said this for myself, when I'm having two CVs and I'm like certified, not certified, and they're pretty equal, I will tend to select the person that is certified, just because this person wants to improve itself, wants to learn more, wants to do something out of their life. And
Yeah.
then I really value this as a bunch of other people in the market value, because we see this person really wants to achieve more. Okay, and that's something that it is. I think it's just pretty valuable for there. But then it's up to you in the interview to ace on that interview and actually get the job. Does it help? A lot. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. I want to add something. I really like your thoughts there, Thiago. I want to add also that when you decide to certify yourself, it doesn't end there. I mean, you can get a job, you can get a promotion because you're certified as well. You can get selected for a career job interview because you have this edge. But you also have to take certifications because you want to learn every day. Because when you take a certifications, you need to renew and refresh it also your skills every year if needed. And that for me personally is a very good one because I'm on the top of what's coming or what's new in the technology that I'm
Mhm.
working on, like Azure or development. So that's my additional input on top of Thiago's excellent
No,
advice
no,
as
no, no,
well.
and that's a super valid point, because
Yes.
when I'm doing those certification renewals, that by the way, for people that don't know, you have to renew your certifications every year. And it's an assessment that it's done online, it's unproctored. But actually sometimes, I have to confess that for me, most of them are pretty easy. But there's always like, I don't know, like two, three questions that actually make me think a little bit. and you can research on them. Even the other day, I was doing my renewal of my SAP Azure Administrator. I did a project which was migrating SAP on a very large corp, and that's why I took the certification. But I actually don't do that any time anymore. Okay, on my daily job, I migrate a bunch of other stuff, but not SAP. And SAP also had some new stuff coming up, and the way you migrate to Azure is slightly different today. And I was migrating, and I was like, I really had to go and read a little bit, like Jonah was saying, polish my knowledge on that a little
Yes.
bit, which personally I find it positive. That's the purpose. So it was, yeah, it was interesting because it's not just having, it's also maintaining the certification. Okay.
Yeah, and Tiago, I feel like you bringing up ASP.NET there kind of, you assigned yourself the next question, which it's a bit big here on the screen, but
Yeah, but
it,
I will
it,
try. I already
it
read
actually
the.
covers half you, Tiago, which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
I'm
you're
like,
at the
Yeah.
bottom.
I'm
So
trying to hide here,
yeah,
but
you're
I'll
trying to hide behind the question, literally.
yeah,
But
from Lucia. I will just take this, but I know I'll just read out this. But basically, the idea is that there is an applied skill, okay, which is about ASP.NET. I already took this one, and yes, Lucia is right. It's definitely not straightforward. Okay, that one. And this is what happens sometimes, with those applied skills. Some of them are really, like, just like pretty obvious what you have to do, but others are not so, and you have to figure it out. But like you did 4 times, look, you can always take it again. It is free. There's always a period
a
of time
delay,
that you have to wait. I think it's like 72 hours flat.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you have to wait some hours between retries, but just retry again, and just take it again. Try to just read it through a little bit better the second time. Maybe you skipped something. Sometimes there's like a tip there, and from someone that actually write exam items and applied skills and all that. Um, there's a really big work behind the scenes to make the instructions the most clearly possible. But people that develop this are humans, and sometimes they miss it. They feel, oh no, this is super clear in their minds, but for other people it might not be. But they do their best to write them. Um but sometimes that happens. You just need to retry again. And I'm sure you can have it. Can you
And
see the score? Can you see the why you missed it? No. The same thing happens with certifications. Okay. You get a report in the end, which is pretty generic. They try to group things together. They're not going to give you answers like, oh, this was right, this was wrong. And that's to protect the value of the certification or the applied skill. Let's just say, like Vlad said in the beginning, the credentials. Um, because if we do this, if Microsoft did this, what will happen is, there's always people trying to, you know, skim through this. They will actually know all the answers, the correct answers. They will publish this somewhere, and then that will devalued. Okay, those credentials, and that's the big reason why Microsoft doesn't publish, and it doesn't give you a super, item by item, what you missed and things like that. Okay.
awesome. And Tiago, do you know if ever there is a course available or Microsoft Learn Path available for that applied skill?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably not.
Okay. Yes, but you don't know it by heart.
I know it, but there's a big fight between the community and Microsoft to see if we can get more development
Oh, yeah.
stuff
Okay.
on it. But I have to confess I'm trying to do my pressure, but I'm not successful on that. Okay. I would love to have a certification like on C Sharp, on .NET 8. Like, to be honest, I started this on .NET, I think 1 or something like that on .NET Core. But yeah, I have been migrated. I think today like .NET 8 or something like that. Really feel it's a miss, but people that decide don't see it. I'm not Microsoft, so it's not up to me to do this. I'm just do the pressure that I hear from the community, and I try to send it to the right people inside. But it's not their priority. Look, it's their program, not mine, and it's what it is. I really don't feel that's going to be, a certification, some training for that applied skill. I really hope that we're going to
Yeah.
get something. I honestly don't know if we have already, but I think they wanted to have for every applied skill something. At least I know there is a Microsoft Learn path. Okay. So there
Yeah.
is that learn path that you can go through and you can learn about it. Okay.
All,
That's there.
all I'm gonna say is I hope I get my SharePoint certification that I've been pushing for before the .NET, because I feel like I've been pushing that forever.
Fair point.
But by the way, really quick welcome to everybody that joined us. I see a lot of
Yeah.
nice messages here in the chat. So, welcome
Yes.
everybody from all the amazing places you are joining. Uh, Daniel from Australia here. So, it's amazing to see you all here. So, just wanted to say welcome here, and we're all happy to have you. Uh, Tiago, let's see what our next question is. I feel like I should give you a
Let me
tough
see.
one.
Let's see.
We have
How
quite a
many
few things
we
here.
have 30, about 30 minutes.
Maybe
Let's
We
see.
then
got time.
Yeah, we got time.
can
Yes.
you go
Okay.
with this one? Then I think Dan is making a question here.
I think Dan did a
Ah, no,
comment
sorry. It was
on
just
the when we're
yeah.
answering to Karike about the courses in South Africa. So that was the comment to
I
that.
can I can answer to this one. I don't know if this is the next one. Maybe you guys can take this
There,
my
I'll
answer.
come back. I think there's a little one that got hidden, but let's go
Okay,
with this one.
Okay.
let's go
You
with this
probably
one, and
know
then
this one a
you
lot
press
better.
for that one. So yes, so this is something that for Super K, I'll just ask you to reach out if you want to become an MCT, to take care of that soon enough. If not, there's going to be there's going to be some time where the platform is going to be offline. I actually not a provider for for those courses that you have to take to become an MCT. So I'll ask you to reach out to one of those providers and ask them the question, because they are the ones that can answer this properly. I honestly know the answer, to be honest with you, but I can't say it. To be totally transparent, there's an NDA in place, and I'm not going to break the NDA, especially on the live call. Not even in a personal part, I will do it.
You
But
need to give him
just reach
beers.
out. Just reach out
Beers
to
work, everybody. Give Tiago beers, and then he starts talking. No, I'm
Yes.
joking.
I'm also careful with that as well. I'm part of the
yeah,
community and very
yeah.
conscious of
But I
what
think
we
the
know
best,
and share.
yeah,
Yeah.
the best way for you to actually know, because they are the ones that are going to be able to share more knowledge on this. um Check them out, and because you need to take the course to become an MCT, and then they will help you definitely on this, because it's on their interest. Okay, because they are going to train people, but if they don't are able to register, maybe you should only take the course after this is solved or something like that. Or there's other solutions that you have to reach out to them. Okay, you had another question, right, Vlad?
Yes, well, this one I think is for Jonah. It's a very generic question, so
Yes.
it's a very big question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be tough to answer, but what do you want to share in general about that?
I'll try to answer in a way to that it's inclusive also to everybody. I advocate like gender diversity inclusion, but I always believe that regardless of your gender, you can do what you want and you can learn what you want. So in terms of this advice, my advice is also so general. So in terms of career opportunities, my first question to you or my advice is find first what is your why, what is it that you want to do in your career, and once you find that purpose, that's when you go for it. for that career. So, for example, if you want to be a developer, then go for the path that you want to be a developer and work with Azure, for example, as a cloud platform. But you can also be non working with non programming career. Like, for example, there are like careers today in IT that you can do low code, no code, and be in the IT management and stuff like that. So I think it really depends on your career goal. And if you don't know where to go, find mentors like me or like experts or community leaders like Thiago and the lad and the Microsoft Learn community. So that's my advice. It's not just for women, but for everybody that's junior and beginners to IT.
Yeah, look, and to add up to that, it doesn't matter from where you are also.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
from
right.
which country you are, nationality. Look, we are all kind of a big IT community that most
Mm.
companies that I know, at least the ones that I work for, they just don't care if you are a woman or a man or whatever. As long as you're capable of doing the job, that's what matters. Okay.
Yes.
And there's jobs for sometimes people, oh, but I don't have Tiago. I'm not a super technical person. And I actually don't want to be, but I just want to be. Yeah, there's like in cybersec, for example. I was just training a group of people on cybersecurity that you know what their role is going to be. They're not going to read logs and protecting firewalls and all those things. No, they're actually going to be training users. That's their job.
Mm.
On do not click here, do not click there, how to assess, how to behave in a secure, in IT secure way. That's their job. This is a team of like 6 people that actually is going to work for a customer, and they're actually going to be there, training every single person. And this is a really large customer. They have all these people coming in and people that need to retrain and all this. And these people will try to coach, the staff on how to use technology in a secure way. That's their job. So, it's a different role. And if you like that, great. Just,
Mm.
there's space for you definitely over there.
Yes. And I also
Awesome.
want to add not just the also the ages doesn't matter. If you want to learn something new, it doesn't matter where you are, what is your gender is, and how old you are. Because even if you're old or young, you can learn everything as long as you have the continuous learning mindset in your goals.
Absolutely agree. I don't have anything to add to that. You guys have done an amazing job. Uh, let's next. I'm gonna hide Tiago a bit more, but really, really
Chicago again.
good. Yeah, no, we hide Tiago at the bottom, but really good reminder. If you are an MCT, make sure you join the MCT Lounge. That's a place where you can ask questions under MCT NDA. So maybe even some of the questions we're not able to answer today,
Yeah.
going to the MCT Lounge is a great location where you can go ask the questions and get a more open answer, because that lounge is only accessible to MCTs that signed their NDA. And there's also, like Hermin here said, there's program updates twice a month where you can get the latest directly from the MCT program member.
Yeah.
So really, really awesome.
By the way, Tracy Karish, she's the person inside Microsoft that manages the MCT program. So hearing from her, it's the best way, to be honest.
Absolutely. It's
It's like
directly.
straight from the source. There's like no filtering or no I don't have to explain. No, it's just she saying that.
Yeah, she makes
And
a call, she
she's
shares
pretty
the message.
straightforward, to be honest, and to the point. So they are usually very good calls that we are having now. But yeah, just go there and don't forget one thing. I'm an MCT regional lead. I have a different NDA, but I'm also an MCT, like most of you that are here, some of you that are here in the call, and you also have an NDA with Microsoft as an MCT. Okay, so you have to keep that information also for yourselves or among people that they are Microsoft certified trainers. Okay, but so don't publish the information online, etc., because there's already some people that did that, and then Microsoft can and has the right to kick you out of the program. So we don't want that.
Yeah.
So just be
Uh,
careful.
And thank you so much, Dan Ray, for sharing who asked that question here in StreamYard. It showed us as LinkedIn user. We don't know why, but thank you so much for sharing who asked that question. Now, question for you two. Maybe one of you two can help me because it's a bit out of my domain here. Why do you
Hmm.
think the Microsoft certified Azure IoT developer, which was exam AZ220, got deprecated? I don't think is the right word. It got retired last year in July,
Yeah.
so it's been a while now. We cannot take it anymore. Any insights? I'm not sure if any of you really work with Azure IoT because it's such a specialty. To add a little bit of a
Yes.
pun here to the question.
Yeah. I'm not that's a good question because I haven't taken honest question answer. I haven't taken the certification myself, but based on what I know in the community and the trends of learning IoT, I myself did the IoT development talk once. Probably in my perspective, it did not gain any popularity somehow in exams and maybe practical use in terms of role base in the real world. But probably Shago has more perspective on this one.
Yeah, I can give my
Yeah,
perspective on that
yeah,
if you want. Microsoft, from time to time, they just look at their certification portfolio and they make some evaluations on it, and some stuff, you know it's retiring because they don't see the priority on that, or they feel that that topic is no longer a topic that is needed to have a certification, and they just retired it. Like, there's like some stuff on Teams development, correct, Vlad, if I'm not mistaken, that got retired too.
Team,
And some other certifications in the
don't
past.
get me started, Tiago. I'm gonna cry. We lost
um
50% of
then
modern work certifications last
Yeah,
year. So yeah.
yeah. Then if we personally, Tiago, Jonah, Vlad, if we personally agree with that, that's a different question. But I answer, I really feel that IoT, there is a space for that, and I think they should keep it. But this is just my personal opinion. I don't have the big picture. I don't have the numbers. Like Jonah was saying about numbers, maybe there's not that many people taking it. I honestly don't have any insights on that. We don't have. And it's just what it is when you're running as a product manager, as a program manager. And I don't know if some of you are, but you have to look at the numbers and you have to put your bucks where it makes more sense. And sometimes tough calls need to be done. It's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, I wish we knew more and we could share more, but
Yeah.
for
This one,
those.
this one, by the way, I honestly don't have any insights. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk quickly. I'll take this one because it's a bit in what I'm doing right now is about CoPilot. And this is something that I feel that Herman here brings a really amazing topic about the new Learn courses for CoPilot. And I will put a comment in the chat as well for all of you. I feel like Microsoft didn't do a good job promoting them, but they actually released 4 new Microsoft Learn courses, and I don't know why it added an enter here. So I don't know if I shared. It broke down the message in two. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to do a bit of copy pasting there and
Yeah.
building the link. But
Yes.
Microsoft released 4 different Microsoft Learn courses for Copilot. On top of my head, it is the MS 4004, 4005, 4006, and 4007. It's tough to count on Monday morning, it seems. But you can go take them for free now, but they haven't announced any actual applied skill or certification. So any type of credential that goes with it. So there's the link that I shared there that, again, I'm sorry it got broken a little bit. Uh, I'll put the right link after as soon as we go to the next question. But one of the downsides and what I think Microsoft is working on before, and again, I don't know anything about it, so I can guess. That's the fun thing about not knowing anything under NDA is I can take wild guesses. Right now, they're not able to give you, even for the official course, to give you a license during the course. So even if you go take the official course at a learning partner, you kind of go and watch the trainer do things and you hope they have a license, because not even the trainer by default gets a license for this course. So it's kind of tough for them to do a credential, to do a certification, even an applied skill, when they cannot give out those licenses. So that really remains to be seen. I have no idea what they are going to do with CoPilot stuff for now, but I really do hope we are going to get some sort of credential soon, whether it's an applied skill, whether it's a certification, just give us something. But what I've seen from a training point of view, they started adding some Copilot theory into each and every course. So whether you're at least on the MS 900, whether you're on MS 700, I'm not sure about the Azure side of things, but we added Copilot theory everywhere. But because, again, even trainers don't have the license provided to them by the training center, they cannot put it into exam yet. So it's not something that's in the exam objective domain. I'm not sure where that will go, but we will find out in the future. But I really hope we will get one.
Yeah, and there's a big challenge on teaching Copilot because of all the licensing that is required, like Vlad was saying. I actually, by the way, solved that problem, and by creating an environment where we can take labs, and we actually did labs on Copilot, so a very practical Copilot thing, but it's not Microsoft official. Okay, so it's like Tiago official.
And it's also very
And
expensive because Tiago had to
yes,
pay
it is.
$30 per user per month
It
for
is.
1 year right away.
You
So
have to pay. Yes, you have to pay 1 year, and when you have more than 10 users on that demo tenant that you just use for training, it gets a little bit expensive. So you actually need to have kind of you know a good case study there that actually you're going to make money out of it. What I tell people is, if you're a trainer, get a license if you can pay. I know. Look, it's very easy for me when say that I live in the Western world. 360 euros in my case. Fortunately, it's not that much money for persons that live in the United States, Canada, Europe, mainly almost all Europe, because what you can make, because your competitors don't have that. So you're going to be the reference, not just now, but for years to come, of the person that solved that and is able to solve that, etc. So it's a good investment. And I understand that in some other countries, uh, that's really a lot of money. Okay, sure. And there's a big problem. That's also something that I'm very passionate about. It's not the topic today, but I'm very passionate about when we talk about artificial intelligence, AI, and the responsible AI part. There is one of the things that is the fairness, okay, and the equality. And today it's not met, okay, because having to pay the same as someone that lives in a country where salaries are this high, but in others are this high, and you have to pay the same. Sorry, that's not being equal. Okay, so there's still some work in progress, but I'm sure we'll get there. Okay, it's a new technology, and we'll get. I'm sure we'll get there, and also Microsoft will solve the problems with tenants, with licenses, and the security and all that. It's just a little bit of a matter of time.
yes. Okay, so we have 15 minutes left and we have quite a few questions. So let's go here
Yeah.
and try and go them. There's one that I really wanted to cover, and of course, it started hiding from me. There we go. Great question from Dan. And Jonna, I'll let you answer this one first because I felt that's such a personal preference. Do you recommend taking an exam from home, work, or at a testing center? What device would you recommend? So let's go in order. Jonah, you go first. How do you like to do your certifications?
Yes, I've taken my certifications actually remotely from home, all of them, and it has pros and cons. Pros in a way that it's convenient; I don't have to leave home, but I consider the preparation of having the rules of having clean desk, everything, no destruction rules, are a bit of cons because it takes time and preparation. But otherwise, it's I would prefer to do the remote or from home testing, in my perspective. And I don't have Mac, so of course I recommend Windows on a laptop. So I don't have to carry a big desktop somewhere in a clean desk
Yeah.
environment. Yes, yeah, that's for me. How about you, Chago or Vilad?
Tiago, go first.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chago.
yeah, yeah. So, like Jonah said, there is pros and cons of each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have a space at your house where you can have a clean desk, just your laptop, powered to the outlet. Don't forget that, okay? So that you don't run out of battery during the middle of the exam. And it's a quiet space with no distractions, etc. It's convenient, let's be honest. If you live near a training center that has an exam, for example, center where you can just take the exams, just go there, you enter, they have everything prepped for you. You don't have to think about prepping anything. Definitely, there's that. I can tell you my experience. I have, I think I saw the other day 60 something exams taken. And most of those exams were probably like half of them already were taken on site because we didn't have any other choice back in the days. And it was always a big process. I had to go to the exam center. In my case, by the way, I live in Lisbon, Portugal, but I actually don't live in Lisbon. Okay, I live in the South Bay, which is like with no traffic, it's like 35 minutes drive to the city center. With traffic, you never know. And then there's the stress of getting there on time in the morning because there's traffic and finding a place to park your car, and all of that you actually don't need that stress before you take an exam. So taking it home, it's way more comfortable. And what I have is I have a device that is not company owned. It's a personal device, so it doesn't have policies and all that stuff that can ruin your exam experience. And I just use that device and I go to my living room because I actually don't take it in the office. You can't see what's in front, but I have 4 cameras. I have a teleprompt, 5 screens, lights, and the person that is, we call it the proctor, that is actually invigilating the exam for you. They will probably freak out if they see all this. So I just take my laptop. I have it here, by the way, because this is a desktop where I am, and I just take my laptop. I go to my living room, powered, with a mouse and my ID, and I just do it from there. There's only a TV in the living room, and sometimes they ask me to cover that with like a blanket or a sheet or something like that. So there's a prep that you need to be doing. Okay, and I know during the day I'm alone here. There's the family is out, so I usually take the exams at that time, and it has been working very, very well for me. Okay, not everyone has this experience and can have this experience. If you can't, go to a training center, an exam center, take it from there. This is my advice.
I'm a bit with Tiago on this one. So I did a lot of them in the testing center. With the pandemic, of course, I had to do them remote. And even I take it one step further. I go in the dining room when there's no
Yeah.
TV, no nothing on the big dining room. So there's nothing for me to hide. And also, I have a blank Windows 11 laptop, like
Yeah.
nothing actually installed on it. I always have one in my house. There's like only Edge, Notepad. I don't even have Office on it. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
use it for. But honestly, if I get the chance, I want to go to a testing center. And why is that? I feel that taking a certification exam is always a stressful experience. No matter how many, if you took 60 like Tiago, or if you haven't taken any, you're always a bit stressed about
Always.
taking that exam. And do you want to add to that stress that the internet will go out, the power will go out, somebody will knock at the door? Do you want to add any stress to that experience? Or honestly, and again, like Tiago said, I'm a bit privileged that I'm 30 minutes away and then I have some friends downtown I'll go get a coffee with after. So I make it kind of a fun experience day of going to the testing center and then grabbing lunch with somebody and everything. So I'm a bit lucky. I'm sure not everyone has a testing center within 30 minutes. And I see what Jenna over there is like, that's me.
Yes. Yeah,
But I,
that's why I answered remote, because I can really relate to the part that I'm someone that doesn't live close to a testing center. So I live out middle of Sweden, so it's not close to Stockholm. And the remote is the most convenient to
Yeah.
me, and I also have to deal with the cons that I shared. That there was one time, the recent certification that I tried to take, AZ 500, the security engineer exam. I was prepared. In the middle of the exam, my internet ran out because the electricity went out, and it doesn't happen often, but it was like a very bad coincidence to do that. So just like what you said, Shargo Bilad, sometimes if you want to be stress free, sometimes it's worth it to do the test center alternative as well. Yeah.
especially on your first exam, on your first few exams,
Mm.
try to go to a testing center. Again, if you have the possibility, try to go there. The process is so easy. You go at the reception, they give you a free coffee, they explain everything to you. If you have any questions, you
Mhm.
can just, you raise your hand and somebody, I mean, not about the exam, but if ever like, the interface doesn't work, something is stuck, they can help you out. They have people there for those kind of technical questions where if you're at home, and I see that Jose actually shared an interesting thing in the chat here that he already missed an exam because of the dogs barking. And
Yeah.
the proctors, some of them, they're humans, right? So, like they say that as soon as somebody walks behind you or they see somebody in the camera, it's automatic disqualification. If I did not know about if they hear sounds that they're not sure about, it's an automatic disqualification. So they're not all the same, right? And I see Jonah looking like, is it like that? They're human, right? They all interpret the rules differently. And I've heard stories where people get disqualified, even if maybe they shouldn't have. And that's why for your first exams, try and go to a testing center if possible. I still always try to go to a testing center because, again, I make kind of a day out of it, go hang out with friends, and it takes out a bunch of stress out of my exam because I can actually focus on the exam rather than the stuff around me.
Yeah.
But it's really I don't want to say it's a personal preference. It's also how close you live to a testing center preference and how available it is to you. But those are our preferences. Now, okay, I see we're getting close. Jonah, I did have a question for you that I think you're the only one that's able to answer over here about your brand new
Yeah.
Azure book.
Okay.
So, so the question is, does it cover some of the AZ 104 objectives?
I believe so. I did cover. Thank you for the question, by the way, Erwin. I believe the book "Learning Microsoft Azure" is a good complementary learning resource on preparing for like 204 or 104 exams and even AZ and 900. I cannot say that the book itself will just like any other resource will help you pass it, but it's a good learning resource on the site of Microsoft Learn. I always refer back to the Microsoft learning path specific to the AZ 104 exam, for example. So yeah, that's my answer. No
Awesome.
buy, like not selling my book or something, but it's just like honest answer
Oh,
that
it's an
it will
awesome
help.
book. I'll sell it for you. It's
Yeah.
an
Just
awesome book.
just buy
I'll,
Jonah's
I'll
book.
say it. Yeah. Uh,
I'm very
okay.
humble.
Just because, in the interest of time, I'll go to a question here. And Tiago, you're going to have to say what you think in 2 minutes max, because I know how passionate you are about this subject. So to give a bit of framing here, a few years ago, wow, that time passed by,
Uh,
we used to have product-specific certification. So you would be SharePoint certified, you would be uh, Azure infrastructure wasn't even a certification back then, but it'd be SharePoint certified or Exchange certified or Skype for Business certified or C Sharp certified. Every certification would be about a product. And to give you a fictive example, which is not the case today, you would have a Power Automate certification, a Power App certification, a Power BI certification, and it would not be a role of Power Platform App Maker where you have to learn all of them. And then Microsoft said, you know what, we're not going to certify for only one product, unless you're lucky, like Teams, for example. But even in Teams, you need to know SharePoint and a bunch of other things. Tiago, I know when this was introduced, was a bit passionate about the change. So Tiago, now that it has been 7 or 8 years, I feel like time went by so
Yeah.
fast. What's your
Yeah. So
what's your take?
just to have a big disclaimer on this, and that's why Vlad is actually doing the question and phrasing the question this way. I was the author of the official training for Azure Developer and Azure Architect. Before we had the role-based certifications. And when we started building this, and also the Azure admin, we actually thought about, well, the product is Azure, but Azure was already really big, and we actually understood and had a vision how big it will become in the next few years, which already passed. Okay. But actually, those certifications in the non-role based were already role based. Those were the first ones, and that was the 70532, 533, and 535. Okay, they were actually already role based. So I'm actually a true believer on the role based certifications because I want to get people certified to be able to do their job. That's what we want. We want to have a certification that matches what actually people do in their jobs, and not, for example, imagine, oh, I'm back in before, we had um cloud. I'm a system administrator. Yeah, you do networking, you do a little bit of Windows Server, a little bit of Linux, a little bit of this, that, and that. And actually, you needed to collect, a bunch of certifications in order for you to do your job. Let's not talk about the non-Microsoft ones because, of course, that's totally out of the scope here. But you still had to know a bunch of different technologies or products. In here, we try to, focus on and just say, like, for example, Azure Admin, Azure Developer, Azure Architect is just focusing on what does an admin needs to do. And so the way that certifications are built very quickly is there is a group of people, subject matter experts, that they create basically a bullet point list of things that people need to know in order to be an Azure administrator. Today, this is what we feel. And then there is training courses, there's learn modules, there's exams that are built based on that list. And of course, we can always question, hey, I think we needed more Kubernetes on this or less Kubernetes or more VMs or less VMs. But I think actually they work pretty well. If I miss product based, I feel that for some kind of niches, yes, we actually miss those. And I'm sure that, for example, today, the applied skills actually come to fill that void. Okay, like, for example, there's the niche for just like, like doing something in Power Platform, like doing like very basic flows. Yeah, there's an applied skill to fill that void. Storage accounts, yeah, there's another one to fill that void. That's very specific, very niche. Got it? So I think that's a great call out for that. And I hope I answer your question, by the way, Dale.
I am more, and I'll do this real fast. I wish we had both in a way. For example, some of the Power Platform functional consultant stuff. I'm a big Power Automate user. I wish I had something with Power Automate. I feel like Microsoft is doing that now with applied skills, where you have a role-based certification and a product-based applied skill, which I think, Dale, is a bit of the win-win. I know you put the question there twice, and the second time you talked a bit more about a win-win. I can't find it now in the chat, but I feel that's the win-win that I was looking for, to have a way to do a role-based, but also if somebody in the HR department is really good at Power Automate, I want them to be able to have a credential that says they know Power Automate without them having to learn Dataverse solutions because they might not have access to that in their environment. Awesome. I seem to have
Yes.
lost my mouse here. Okay, so let's see. We
No,
have
no worries. I think there's a question here about where if there is a website
Yeah.
with
Isan, let me show.
yeah,
This one?
with yeah. Yeah,
That
exactly
one.
that one. Thanks for that.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I honestly don't want to, advise website A, B, or C because, I don't want because I'll be, biased on that, and I honestly don't want. But I can advise you one thing. I don't know if everyone knows, but when you go to the exam page, and for example, if you go on the exam page for AZ 104, if you scroll down, and I just opened this, there's a section on the exam that's called practice for the exam. And under practice for the exam, there is a section that says take the practice assessment. And I'm actually going to put here, okay, that the one for AZ 104. But you could do this for others. And there's actually, a free assessment, and this is free in the Microsoft official course. Of course, this is not the exam questions, of course, but you can have very good questions that can actually make you think a little bit and actually, practice, okay, through practice exam questions. And then look, there's a bunch of other ones. I can only say one, which is what's the name of the official partner? I forgot the name now.
Measure up.
Measure Up. Yes.
Measure up.
Measure Up,
Yeah.
they are the
yes.
official partners for practice exams. But again, there's a lot of people. I don't know, Vlad, if you make some
I I
for the
am
Microsoft.
not
I do, I
making
do, I
some.
do,
I
and I
mean,
have some from the Azure part, but there's a bunch of other authors like me, Vlad, Jonah, that actually, just put some questions together. But there's lot. I don't know about like one site where everything is concentrated. I don't know.
maybe we should start that, Tiago. That's our and Jonah. That should be our next business.
Yeah.
But it'll be tough to compete with Measure Up, which, like you said, it's the official Microsoft provider and everything. So, of course, and yeah, don't go for the shady sites.
No, do not do
Don't
that.
go for the shady sites. I won't even mention the name. But Tiago, Jonah, we are at time. I want to make sure I respect everybody's time
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And we did have a giveaway to do. We had quite a few 50% discount vouchers for certifications. And we are all trainers, so I'm sure we have all prepared a structured way to give them away, right, Tiago? And Jonah, we planned this and everything. So how are we going to give them away? I'll
Well,
take it. I'll take it. You seem to hesitate.
well, I think. Don't you think that everyone that was on this call and make questions deserve a voucher? I think they do, right?
I think
Yeah.
everybody that asked a question deserves a
Yes.
voucher. And the cool thing, because we're streaming this to places where we know all of your names, such as LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, we will reach out to you within the next, by the end of this week, hopefully. If
Yes.
not, feel free to spam one of us on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Vlad,
Uh,
Vlad, spam
Yeah.
Vlad.
Spam Vlad. Okay, I'll take the
That's a good hashtag.
responsibility. I'll take the
Yes, that's right.
responsibility. Spam Vlad. So what we're gonna do is we are going to start sending them to you as soon as today. The only thing we ask you is that I'm gonna email. Well, not email. I'm gonna ping you on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or wherever you posted a comment. I'll ask you if you want it, and if you want it, make sure you go use it. I mean, 50% off can be up to 90% off certification voucher. So if you would like one, just let me know and I'll send you the voucher. And if you're like, Vlad, you know what? Not yet. We'll talk again in a few months. No problem at all. It will free up the voucher for somebody else. So if you plan to take a certification exam in the next, I forgot, they expire after 3 months, right, Tiago? The vouchers that we have. I'm going to have to
Give it
double
90
check
days, yes.
everything
Yeah.
when I send you all the message. And again, Tiago will send you all the applied skills 100% discount vouchers to all of you.
Yes, and I also want to add that to those that joined us today, to because this is the kickoff of our new learning room together. All of us, me, Jonah, Thiago, and Vlad, we have a learning room called Cloud Certifications Crew. That's us. Join us in one of the learning rooms if you want to continue and discuss questions related to certifications, or to follow up the vouchers as well instead of spamming. That's also a good way.
Do we have the link for that? Maybe we can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I do have the link to the list. I'm gonna post it now. But then the short AKAMS version for our learning room, I
Oh,
don't have it. It's a
I
very
think
long one.
Tiago just put it in the chat as well. Awesome.
Let's see. That's good. Do you have that, Thiago? The short version of our group join?
I should have it.
Yes, that one.
I am new to the cloud certification crew, so I'm still learning what
But
are
I
all
don't I
the
don't I
different
don't
ways.
actually have the shortener link, but I have this one. Okay, that takes you there.
How come your link
Yeah.
didn't get cut into it, but mine did? I feel
I'm
like
I'm
it
special.
didn't like me.
I'm special. That's the reason.
All right, I did a quick. Let me just do a quick Bitly link occasions crew for
Yeah, but
our. Okay.
there is a an
Okay.
AKA that
Oh yes. Okay.
We will get it. If not, again, we will follow up with you. We'll make sure to have it on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on
Mm,
LinkedIn. We'll make sure to share it after. Again, I want to make sure we're respectful of everybody's time. And if ever
yeah.
you want us to do this again, maybe in 2 months, something as new certifications come in, new credentials, build coming up, I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of different announcements. Make sure to let us know if you enjoyed, and we're going to work on creating a new one. But any final thoughts, Jonah?
No, except that I want to thank you, everyone, those that joined us live from all parts of the world. This is streamed and recorded, so I hope that you can reshare the knowledge that you shared to others, and follow us and join us in the community.
Awesome. Tiago, any last thoughts?
yeah, I just want to say that it's always a pleasure, to do these things for
Yeah,
the community and help others. I think, we're very privileged to be working in IT and tech, and I think it's everyone's responsibility to share a little bit their knowledge. At least that's
yeah,
what we all here try to do. So if you enjoy this, give us feedback. What was
mhm,
working well, what we can improve, and what you want to see us doing with our learning room in the future. The learning room has our faces there, but it's actually not ours, it's yours. So if
yeah.
just tell us what you want us to do, and we will happy try to do some initiatives using your feedback. That's kind of the idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone who
Yes.
joined. You made it fun. If without your questions, this would have just been me, Jonah, and Tiago chatting to each other again for 1 hour. So thank you so much for your interesting and
Yes.
amazing questions. I really enjoyed being here, and looking forward to talk to you all soon. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye
Bye,
bye, everyone.
everyone. Have a great one.